Hey, this is David, and so as you can tell, I'm sick, but I still wanted to do this live stream. Um, I wanted to do something like this for a little while, but finally kind of gathered a few different items to showcase. Uh, the other thing is I have a slightly like new streaming setup, so I wanted to see how that's going, get some people's thoughts on it, and then slowly kind of improve this process so that I could do it more regularly, more kind of interesting streams and stuff like that. But and like I said last time, trying to find different formats or different kinds of videos that make sense for this kind of channel going live. Most of the videos are more kind of these uh, thoughtful essays or reviews and stuff like that, but maybe that's not the right thing to do live. But something like this is more like an unboxing, item showcase, stuff like that. So I thought it was more appropriate to do it live. So one thing, a lot of these items that I got were on Yahoo Auction Japan, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like eBay over here. And you can get quite a few rare items on there, stuff that like you've never heard of or never seen before. Really interesting things. I hope that it's going to be a good source of kind of content for this channel going forward. And then slowly, as I gather some items, I'll share it here first, get people's thoughts. Maybe someone can provide me some information on items that are very rare, and it'll help me out in the actual like proper video going forward. But so the first one, it's already been featured on the channel a little bit, but I picked up this Elmo, what is it, Album 3600. It's a Super 8 camera. I got it not too long ago. I'm also going to switch over. I have a different kind of top-down camera over here. Also working on this type of stuff, but slowly. And what was really interesting about this camera, not just the looks, I mean, it's very kind of its time. I think Super 8 cameras, some of them are stylish, some of them are very much not stylish. They're kind of, some of them were very much just for family use, but this one felt a lot more like design-wise very interesting. But more than that, it has the equivalent, or it has a 8.6 millimeter lens normally, but then it has this function that you can kind of, let's see if I could get it here, open it up, and now you have access to a 4.6 millimeter lens. So let me do the math on that. It's maybe about a 22 to 24 millimeter on full frame. So on Super 8, that's extremely rare. And also it's kind of acts like a prime lens. So just thought that that was a very, very interesting aspect, something very rare on Super 8 cameras. And I'm gonna do some test footage with this and kind of talk about it on the channel later. Also want to get more information on it because, as you'd guess, with something like this, it's just, there's not that much information out there. But if anyone has any information on this album, Elmo Album 3600, I'd be happy to hear it. And it was in a video about kind of not learning Super 8, but kind of what to do to get started when you find a Super 8 camera like this. So that's one thing. Something else I picked up on Yahoo Auctions is this Lomo standard speed or Oct 19 mount. And this is a Russian, like people say, kind of a speed panchro equivalent. But I've always been so fascinated by the Lomo lenses. They just have this quirky engineering. I don't know if you could see the mount, like it stabilizes part of the lens onto the mount so that other aspects of it can turn. Let's show it up this one as well. That you have this kind of weird, very, very unique style of lens design from USSR, but kind of a lot of the Lomo lenses I've seen up until now feature this kind of like really interesting way to hold the lens in place while achieving focus or aperture. And this was pretty clean, it was pretty cheap, and happy to pick it up. It's my first Super 35 spherical Lomo lens, and I have a mount for Sony, so at some point I'm going to test this out and see what it looks like, but it should be pretty nice. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about was this huge box of just like, I don't know how many cameras and lenses and all that, kind of like a grab bag of junk stuff. Here in Japan, they say something is junk when it's kind of like for parts and stuff like that, or they just don't want to test the uh, quality or viability or if it works or not. So they label it as junk and then sell it in these big lots and all. And this one looked kind of interesting. I ended up winning the bid, and it just arrived, and I haven't looked through it, but I opened it up really quick and it's a ton of stuff. So I wasn't able to put it on the desk at first. I thought I would like plop it on the desk, open it up, and kind of do an unboxing, but that's not going to work out. I do have kind of a mobile solution, so I'm going to show the whole box and then slowly go through it on camera here. So let's see. So as you can tell, it's quite the full box of just a bunch of film camera stuff. Let's see. All right, that looks good. So now I'm going to slowly take one thing out at a time and see what it is. So this is one of the bigger ones in there. So it looks like this is a camcorder. I remember that was in the listing. So I know at least kind of a general idea of what was included in this lot, but not too much of the specifics. So now these are becoming more popular. Sony Handycam Video High 8. Maybe later on I'll see if it works and it could be used in some kind of music video project or something like that, but I never really got to use one exactly like this. I had a much smaller one when I was a kid and made some of my first videos on that, but it'll be interesting to kind of visit this era of filming technology. So let's go on to this one. Ah. So we have a Pentax. Let's see which model this is. Is it one of their first? I mean, it's definitely one of their early models. It doesn't say, so I wonder if it is just kind of the first model that came out from Pentax. I'll have to look that up. shutter sounds a little bit strange. It's got caught here too. Also, I wonder if there's any film in any of these. No, it doesn't seem like it. Um, so it looks like this one does have some shutter issues, which is unfortunate. It gets caught there, but maybe it's fixable. Yeah. But still, I mean, it looks to be in halfway decent condition other than the shutter. Let me check out the lens. So now I can't seem to get the lens off of here. So I feel like it's just a screw mount. Is it? That's... Hmm. I mean, this is partly why, it's kind of a risky thing. You're gambling on the junk collection because sometimes you get actual junk. Ah, here we go. Got it. Nope. What is going on here? There we go. So the lens looks passable, at least. Like, definitely something usable on digital cameras these days and perfectly fine on film. We'll just have to see if I could fix the shutter on this. There we go. No, not quite. But could be a nice little project. So I remember a few of these were Pentax, like screw mount Pentax, M42 lens mount, which I do like that era. Lenses are very nice, accessible, inexpensive, great starter cameras. So something now that I have several of them could be a good video for the channel. One thing that I'm always skeptical about is with these junk ones, they say that they haven't tested it or they kind of try to sell it like they just found it somewhere, but I wonder if people actually go through them, find the ones that work, sell that on, in a store or on a different Yahoo account, and then get together all this junk stuff. It's my first time getting one of these like big lots, so we'll see. This one also seems a little bit kind of shutter issues. Now this could be interesting. So EOS IX50. I've never used one of these like kind of towards the end of the era film Canons, but they kind of, this is APS-C. Yeah. I think they also had like the 35mm versions of these kinds of bodies. I mean, really, really cool technology. Again, another camera that looks great for the era, very unique. kind of futuristic in its time, but still interesting these days. So IX50. It's really light as well. I haven't used APS since I was a kid, so that will also be something interesting to do, especially before it's just completely not an option. Wow, super cool. So now, at the moment, it seems like maybe only the lens. I'll have to test the camcorder out, but only thing that's usable at the moment is that lens. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more usable stuff than just that. So here we have a little point and shoot. Well, it's not little, it's pretty chunky. Konica 80 Super Zoom Z Up. Wow. So it has some kind of, looks like coating loss or a little bit of fungus in the back of the lens, but could still be a little fun thing to use at times. Let me see if I have the right battery for this. If I can find the battery compartment. It looks like it's around here somewhere, but now I can't even find. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to look into this one as well, but battery compartment seems to be here, but I don't know how to access it right now. And then the grip seems to be peeled away a little bit. So again, I'm wondering if they just like check all these cameras, really determine that they're junk and put it into a bundle. Maybe they were trying to find the battery compartment, but weren't successful. So this is another big reason why I ended up going with this auction. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but none of them really seemed that interesting, or they got too expensive, and I don't want to risk it, like, considering that most of it's probably junk. But this is a little bit of kind of camera history that I haven't delved into either. This is a single 8 Fuji camera. So Fuji, I think, was the one that invented single 8, a different standard, very similar to Super 8 and Double 8. That you can't really use it anymore, but I always thought the cameras looked great. Wow. And it came in these like really interesting cartridges. As you can see, it's kind of looks like an 8 almost. So wow. And they're always like these hefty cameras. I think it was mostly in the 70s, so super substantial, really cool technology, really cool cameras, but unfortunately not something we could really use too much, but I think it'll make a great little piece for in the back. So another little point and shoot. This one smaller, and also I'm hoping that this one will work. It's a pretty cool little compact 38mm f2.8 lens, very popular. Format, very popular size. Looks halfway decent, but I see already it looks like the shutter's slightly open. Let's see if we can kind of salvage this. What does it take? 2 double A's maybe? Oh man. So it seems like this one might not work either. Just judging from, it's hard to tell, you're not going to be able to see it, but there's a little opening in the lens, which is seems like the shutter mechanism. So probably I'll have to double check with the batteries. Maybe these batteries aren't good anymore, but so far, not too good of a hit rate on this lot. All right, let's go for one that's a little bit more. Hopefully this will work out. So Olympus Pen EE3, I already made a video about Olympus cameras, their pen series. I think they're fantastic for anyone learning any kind of photography, but in the video I made an argument that they're great for street photography in particular. So this also seems to have some shutter issues maybe. Oh, maybe not. But maybe some aperture, some aperture issues. Can't seem to get it to change here. It will be something to explore, but might not be fully functional. Also, these are a pretty cheap variant of the pen, so might not be worth salvaging, but I do want to make a video about the pen series kind of as a whole, and I'll at least be able to use it for some B-roll and stuff like that. Let's check this one out. Like, I kind of feel bad that they packaged everything so well, but most of it seems to be junk. You tend to see that a lot here in Japan, where stuff is super well packed and like kind of treatment of used items is great, but almost to a fault. So here we have a 50mm f1.7 Pentax SMC. This was one of the first lenses I started with in photography. I had a Pentax P30, I believe it was called, the model, with this exact lens, and it taught me so much. And unfortunately, at the moment, I don't have that lens with me, so this is nice to have. And, you know, looks halfway decent. So I guess maybe in the future, if I do decide to do this again, going with a lens-based lot would probably be smarter than film camera. Yeah, I thought film camera maybe they would most of them would be working, kind of those older even screw mount Pentax, they're really durable, last a long time, but unfortunately those two had some shutter issues and we'll see if they're fixable. But this I'm pretty happy with. Oops, sorry. We'll go with a different lens. And also, I'll be using this packaging for other stuff, so it's not going to go to waste, but man, it's a lot. Ah, so this one, it's, you know, one of those standard Canon zoom lenses from the film era. Really bad fungus, stuff like that. This is probably going to just be donated to one of the recycle shops here. Let's go for another big film era zoom lens. So this one doesn't look like it has as much fungus as the other one. What is this? Nikon AF 70-300, 4 to 5.6 G. So I assume it's a film era because it has this manual focus, but I might be wrong. Kind of like a kit lens. Doesn't look too bad. I don't have any Nikon bodies, but maybe it'll be put to some use somewhere somehow. But at least on its face, without testing it, it seems acceptable. I'll do one more lens and then head over to some more camera bodies. Tamron 28-80. I'm not sure about the mount, maybe Canon. You know, film era cheap zoom lens when Tamron was really or Tamron and even Sigma at the time were not kind of the higher end alternatives that they are now. So now your kind of standard point and shoot Konica X3 Zoom V. 38 to 110 power zoom. So looks to be in good condition. Let's see if I can put in a battery really quick to test it. Man, I gotta check the battery again, but seems like it's not powering on. now I'm starting to really suspect that these sellers check all this stuff before they put it up on a bulk lot. But that's how it goes. I wanted to kind of experiment and see what could happen with this, and we'll see how it goes. And it has an interesting strap. This is another one that could potentially be a nice would give value if it actually works, but I don't think I could test it right now. I'm gonna need some battery adapters to do that. So a really popular camera, or the series is pretty popular. Yashka's like rangefinder, somewhat compact cameras. This one's pretty dirty. Lens does not look the best, but maybe, just maybe, the camera actually works. So let's test out a, that's sticking there quite a bit. No, but it seems at least to be accurate on the higher shutter speeds. Maybe this one could use a nice cleaning, and it could be good as new. Yeah, pretty dirty on the inside as well. Or at least it seems functional. Actually, I guess this was the type, it has a meter, but it's like the Yashka Electro series that you need battery adapters. This one has that bigger lens. It's a 1.4 45 millimeter. So focus looks, smooth, and then the viewfinder, not the best, but could be a good one to like kind of clean up, loan out to friends, and also make a nice little video on the channel for this. Let's see. So this is a Canon EOS 1000S, kind of standard looking consumer model from Canon in like probably the early to late 90s. Pretty normal stuff. I do have a few lenses, so I might put some batteries in here and test it, but not really the most interesting one of the lot. Just so I don't have to keep on going back, I'll bring a few up here. This looks like another Pentax lens. Yep, screw mount. Another 55 1.8. The first one that I picked up was also 55 1.8. Looks like it has a little bit of fungus, some coating wear. Yeah, this one's not as good condition as the other one, but still, just for some fun, like using it on a digital camera or something, could be fun. Let's see this one. So this looks like an FD, Canon FD lens, maybe. Yeah. That's exactly what, or FL. FL. has a little bit of fungus and stuff inside. Kind of, you know, whatever. Not neither here nor there. 51.4. The aperture does not seem to be working, but I'm not too familiar with this era of Canon lenses, so I might have to play with that a little bit later on. So I might go with this camera. This is an older looking Canon. Yeah, this is the camera that it goes with. So FL. Let's see. Not a good sign from the start with this one. Let's see how you open it. Let me see if adding the lens does anything. This is my first time using one of these like Canon positive lock type lenses, and it's pretty interesting. Let's see. Is it gonna go? Ah, there we go. Cool. Still don't know how to open it though. Because a lot of times, you know, you kind of pull up on the film rewind, and that'll open it up. That looks like a battery compartment. Ah, here we go, on the bottom. Oh, well. So it has one of these kind of like uh, automatic film loading mechanisms, which is a pretty cool feature. But the shutter does seem to be stuck. Well, we'll have to see if anything can be done about that. Let me bring out a couple more here. Another Tamron to complete the set. This one 80 to 210. you know, optically looks fine. We'll have to see what mount it is. Probably goes with some of those Canon cameras, I'm assuming. I mean, you know, might have some kind of use for it somewhere at some point. So I was really hoping that because there were some older film cameras in this lot, that it would be more worth it. A lot of the digital ones, anyways, your chances of them working are very low. But then also, you know, stuff like that, those older Tamron lenses don't really have much value. Oh, this is nice. I don't even remember this in the lot. Lens is not in the best condition, but seems like it's pretty surface level. Maybe I could clean up some of it. It's a nice little rangefinder. Viewfinder is surprisingly nice. Hopefully it works. Let's see. What is this? It's aperture. So shutter's kind of sticking, but now, you know, it might be usable. This one could use just a little bit of maintenance and might actually be quite the success from a lot like this. Aries 35 3L. Nice little rangefinder. Seiko shutter. 4.5 centimeters, so 45 millimeter lens, f1.9. Nice. At least this does have some hope. I'll have to check that out a little bit later. I also want to kind of like try to open these slightly so I could preserve some of the bubble wrap, but it doesn't always work out. So this is one I was also pretty interested in. It's a Canon 35 to 105 FD lens. So I see this is the difference between the FL and FD. Thought that maybe for some full frame video it might be nice, but seems like the aperture is not working on this one. Oh man. Yeah, maybe you just get kind of screwed over with some of these. I mean, the quality, there's some imperfections, some mold and stuff. And I don't think these are very expensive either, so I could just pick one up, but there was enough interesting stuff in this lot that kind of made me pull the trigger on it, but we'll see if this can be fixed as well. This looks like a late film era Minolta. Oh wow, feels nice. Minolta Alpha 303 SI Super. We'll have to test it out, see if it works. I mean, it feels almost like a digital camera, but definitely is not. And then I only have a few left, but I think I tried to save some interesting ones for the end. So there are a bunch of lens caps and stuff like that. I'll see if this could be put to some use, some filters. Then some nice cases for some of these cameras, especially the like film camera, the motion picture cameras. Then lastly, we have a Super 8 camera. Yahoo Sound 20XL. This feels like a pretty hefty Super 8 camera. Very cool. It feels like a Lamborghini doors or something. Gull wing doors. Oh, I wonder if it needs like an old DC battery or something. That's maybe why it was included in this slot, because it actually looks quite nice. And this is one of the reasons why I did end up picking up this lot, but maybe they just didn't have a battery to test it. Well, no, this looks like in really nice condition, and maybe I'll be able to make a video about it in the future, or if not, it's still a pretty nice one to have for different Super 8 videos. I plan to do more follow-ups on, you know, how to test Super 8, how to use Super 8 in even work projects and stuff like that from my experience. Just a really, really nice camera. I'm assuming it's only 18 frames a second. I'll have to test that out. Or you could put some 6 AA's in there. So I can test that out later and see if it actually works. So it seems like that's it from this lot. I don't know. I paid about $100 US, and I definitely feel like I got ripped off. But that's what happens. It's kind of a gamble with these things. If you go on eBay or any of these auction sites, sometimes you make it big, sometimes you don't. And this one, I felt like it was worth taking the risk. You know, it kind of works for this channel. It could be an interesting way to do some live streams and find new items to talk about. Sometimes you might find a hidden gem, and that's pretty cool. But if not, I'm going to really, like earlier in the video, or earlier in the stream, I talked about like the Lomo 35mm standard speed and stuff like that. If I gather enough interesting one-off items that I purchased individually, I might do a lot like this and talk about recent purchases, what I plan to do on the channels, different thoughts and ideas that I have. But we'll see if I ever do any of these big lot things again, because it seems like now the sellers probably test everything. If they determine it's junk, they'll put it into lots like this and try to kind of not scam people, but you know, people hope to get something that hasn't been looked through, you know, like some estate sale, but really everything's combed through. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I got a ton of stuff in my office that I got to clean up, and if you know, like this kind of format, if you think there should be something improved about it, please let me know. I also have a pretty busy schedule for the next few weeks, maybe even few months, and I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to upload a proper video. I have thoughts, I have plans for the next one. I just don't know what kind of schedule this production will take. So in the meantime, I'll try to do some more live streams, give different thoughts, chat with people, and see what else I could come up with. But I'm David, and this is The Whole Picture.